Hi Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your December 12th, 2021 reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds, letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's let the bowls sing as we see what the tarot has to say. Aquarius, December 12th, 2021, Aquarius. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides, angels and spirit guides. Show me clearly, guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides, angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. At the bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. We have the star, Aquarius, which is us shining through. That's absolutely brilliant. And we have the chariot, which is Cancer energy. So if we have Cancer within our natal chart, that part of our personality is going to come out very strongly at our root. But so is our Aquarius personality. So that's really quite cool. Also, if we have Cancers within our lives or Aquariuses within our lives, they're going to affect us much more profoundly at our root. They're kind of going to shake our foundation more than we realize. So just being aware of that is going to be very important. Then we have the Knight of Cups, water sign energy, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. If we're born on the cusp with Pisces, this part of our personality comes through very strongly. Or again, if we have water sign energy within our natal chart, it comes through very strongly in our emotional self. So just be aware of this. Also, people will have a tendency who are water sign energies, or when people use emotions to get what they want, or emotional manipulation, or even like battle, but like you come from the heart, that's going to affect us more, and in a good way and also in a bad way. You know, if they're using emotional manipulation, we can feel guilty about things rather easily. So be aware of that. 5 of Cups, change your mind, change your whole entire life. It moves us then to the 2 of Pentacles. We're needing balance, but we have eternal prosperity. And then we have the Queen of Swords, air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Now, if we have air sign energy within our natal chart, this comes through very powerfully here at an emotional level. So the heart and the mind are really coming together, and that's going to be really important for us. This is also us, Aquarius. So Gemini, Libra, Aquarius is represented by the swords. So we're amplified here much more than we even realize. And we're coming from the heart, and we're going to need to embrace our hearts during this time. Then we have our public arena self. We have the 5 of Cups again. I love that, the hope coming forward. And we have the moon. So Pisces energy is quite amplified here also. This is, our fears. This is what we doubt. This is the beauty of ourselves also coming forward and being able to be illuminated. Now, if we have Pisces energy within our natal chart, or we're born on the cusp with Pisces, this comes out very powerfully in our public arena self. So our fears, we're going to be addressing them in the public arena, but we're also going to be looking at our hearts and our passions and what we want and what we desire. So that's going to be a big thing for us. Let's look at our chakra energy. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. This is the Princess of Pentacles. This is somebody who's looking at their finances, they're looking at prosperity, they're looking at wealth, they're looking at it in a very different way, but they're also looking at it in a very childish way. It's going to be instant gratification, it's going to be instant, build up towards what they want, what they view as being right for them. We can be sucked in, but this person isn't going to have thought through everything. So we need to be very mindful of the way that we listen to them, okay? So that's just going to be very important. They sound like they know more than they actually do. So just be aware of that. Then we have our chakra energy. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. This is truth. This is the throat chakra. Now for air sign energies, the throat chakra is huge. When we have our truth coming forward, we need to speak our truth. We need to speak what we desire within our lives. We need to balance our life with the truth of our existence, with the truth of who we are, with the truth of where we want to be. So that's going to be very important. This is going to be a time where people may not like what we have to say, but they are going to see it and they are going to come to a sense of, you know what, I might not like this, but it's kind of like you're a straight shooter, right? So you're going to stay on point. You're going to stay guided towards what you want and what you desire. And that becomes a thing of respect. It's like, okay, I might not agree with this, but the consistency of us during this time, Aquarius, is going to be just valued. It is going to be valued because we're coming from a place of truth. We're also coming from a place of, embracing who we truly are and what we truly want. Authenticity. Yes, that would be it. Now at our root here, let's talk about the 12th of December before I get ahead of myself. So on the 12th of December, we do have the Sun squared Neptune, which actually hits us rather strongly with the Pisces energy because Pisces is ruled by Neptune. So that comes out very strongly during this time. The Sun squared Neptune creates battles that we have to overcome. It's really showing us our insecurity, our wounds, things that have been holding us back. And now that we're looking at it in a very different way, in a very kind of focused way, we're going to see ourselves really changing around what we want, where we're headed, but also our own insecurities. We're facing a lot of the things that have held us back, a lot of the things that have wounded us. And that's why we have the hope here. That's why we have the sense of really embracing our hearts and our minds coming together and seeing where it is that we want to be, seeing what it is that's comfortable for us, seeing what it is that we desire. And that becomes the game changer. Now, 1212 as the angel number reminds us to move forward. So the astrological aspect of the Sun squared Neptune can have us really wanting to stay still, can have us also wanting to look at all our failures, all our hurts, all our pains. And that's going to be something that affects us inwardly, but it also affects us in the public arena. So being aware of that is going to be very important. 1212 is also a reminder to believe in ourselves, to create balance within our lives, and appreciate and invest in meaningful relationships. This isn't going to be a time where we suffer fools well. Now, Aquarius, we don't really ever suffer fools well, so being aware of this is going to be really important. We want to keep the peace within our lives. We need to honor peace almost above all else. It's kind of like really sitting there and saying, I'm embracing the compassion of my soul and I'm letting that compassion move me forward. We're stepping out of our comfort zone. We're staying focused on our dreams, but we're also stepping into our dreams. And we're realizing that our dreams are beginning to manifest in our waking world. And this is the beginning of the manifestation of dreams, which is absolutely beautiful because we're thinking you can just visualize it. If you visualize it as a story, right? We have 1212. We have the angel number of being able to move forward, of remembering ourselves and believing in ourselves and manifesting our dreams. And then we're going into the year 222, right? 2022. This is an angel number of, of new beginnings. And so this is powerful that we're taking this energy and we're stepping into a time that says, this is a new beginning. This is a new passion. This is a new brilliance forward. And it leads us to the very essence of ourselves. This is what we want from our lives. This is the brilliance of ourselves. This is the illumination within the darkness that comes forward. This is also what we wish for. Aquarius, we live in the place of hopes and dreams and of beautiful connections with the soul and with the self. People don't always see that about us, but that's their loss. We need to see it about ourselves. So just because we don't fit in the way that everybody kind of wants us to fit into these nice little boxes doesn't mean that we're wrong. It's just embracing our dreams and our wishes, our souls and our desires. So the sun comes forward here. Not the sun, the star comes forward here. But we can also look at it as, the sun's light also coming forward, because a star is just a faraway sun. And what we're going to see is that our dreams are being listened to, our hopes are being heard, our passions are guiding us in a very real way. And it brings us to a connection with the fierceness of our hearts that we might not have known we had. This is very much a time of, I need to emotionally move forward. I need to believe in myself and go after what I desire. I need to have the subconscious and the conscious coming together, meaning that I also have to look at my energy vibration. I have to look at what's right for me and what I desire and what I need within my life and honor my own journey and my own story. Because so many times we don't. We just think, I have to achieve more, I have to do better, I have to meet this goal or that goal. And Spirit's saying, why? Why must I give up for everybody else? Why cannot I embrace who I am and what I desire and what I need? The subconscious is what we connect with in the quiet moments. And since the star also has us getting what we need from life, not necessarily what we want, not what we put on our Christmas list or our holiday list, and not what we cross our fingers for, but what our soul deeply needs. And it's also connecting with the energy vibration. We are so connected with energy that it's unbelievable. We're looking at what we deeply want, and that's starting to come forward. And as we're looking at it, we're also seeing, what is it that comes into my life that brings me down? What are the base energy vibrations that are corrupting my soul and myself and keeping me from raising that energy vibration, raising that power within myself, and attracting more of the blessings in life than of the sorrow? Which, can sound so easy to say. And you can definitely roll your eyes and say, Dane, this is a bunch of nonsense. And how am I supposed to embrace, positive, higher energy vibration when life is so hard, when things are so challenging? Believe me, I understand. I really, really do. There have been times in my life where, there was a year when I cried myself to sleep every single night because I just felt so lost. And it just was like I was doing what I was supposed to do. But I wasn't happy, I wasn't me, I wasn't embracing who I was. And that's important. We tend to forget that that's important, but it is. And so here with the Chariot, we're realizing the force of our hearts, and we're realizing that we have to check in emotionally, and we have to connect with that beauty, with that intention, with that desire. And it brings us to the Knight of Cups. It brings us to the dreamer. It brings us to the person who says, my dreams are important. It also brings us to the person who says, I value my heart and my energy and my soul and myself. It's not about how I win. It's not about how much I can accumulate or how quickly I can achieve. What it is about is what I love and what I'm passionate about in my life for me. What it is about how I rise above the chaos of emotions and the corruption of emotions to say what is true for my heart and what is it that I desire. And it brings us to the Five of Cups, hope. Because in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, and we can see it a little bit better here, you have the Two of Cups, right? And the Two of Cups is healing, beautiful love. It's the Minor Arcana Lover's card. It's the connection with unity. But behind us, we have Fallen Cups. Here, they're all spilling out. And that is a sense of, I can look at everything that I've lost. I can look at every pain and every hurt and live in that devastation. Or I can embrace my heart and my soul and my desire. Or I can look at the beauty of me and say, I matter. I matter, and I can sit there and cry over spilt milk that can never be pushed back into the cup, that has gone into the earth. Or I can turn around and see love and see blessings. Because there's always a connection to more. We can always count on divinity and our angels, but if we're having a hard time believing, if we're looking at the world and the state of the world, or just human nature in general, and looking at the worst of us, and saying, if there was, such power, wouldn't it get rid of the depravity? Then maybe we look at a tree. Maybe we look at the earth that grows food. Maybe we look at the earth that we walk upon and need to connect with, and we find meaning there. It does not matter where we find meaning or how we find meaning. It matters that we are guided and that we are connected and that we're starting to see our blessings over our curses, over the hardships and the pains. And it moves us to the Two of Pentacles. It moves us to finding balance within ourselves. It moves us to having our feet firmly planted on the ground. It moves us to looking at the emotional chaos of it all and saying, I'm not going to be destroyed. But we have to ground ourselves first. We're going to try and balance everything for everybody else, and yet not see that we need our feet firmly planted on the ground. We're going to be looking at the emotional chaos. It's going to be caused by two distinct things. It can be two distinct people is really coming forward, but it can be two distinct things that are causing this emotional tidal wave that, if we don't deal with it, plops us right into our emotional chaos, right into, you have to look at me. So just be aware of that. It brings us then to the Queen of Swords. It brings us to cutting through doubts and fears and negativity. It brings us to an embrace of the passion of ourselves. This is also the most masculine of the queens. So we are represented in the minor arcana by the most masculine of the queens, which kind of gives her a bad rap. So the Queen of Swords, people sit there and say, oh, well, the Queen of Swords is just cruel and mean and only business-minded, and it all comes down to money or to power with her. And yeah, a lot comes down to power and security, because that's what she's worked so hard for. And why would she give it up? Why would she walk away from that to please somebody else? No. She's a person who fights. She's a person who knows what it is that she wants. She's a person who cuts through the nonsense. She also carries the weapon of nobility. A sword is the weapon of nobility. And so here we take that sword and we say, this is what I have earned. It also takes hours of practice, hours of training. And that's going to be what we embrace. The fact that I have been guided. I have been forged by the events that have happened in my life, by the way that I have moved forward and what I have been interested in, or what I have done and what I haven't, to be able to wield this weapon of mind, of thought, of speech, and of determination. And it's the heart and the mind really coming together and seeing each other, maybe for the first time, it feels like. Emotionally, this is what I want. Well, logically, this is what I want. Powerfully, this is how I'm moving forward. It brings us that hope again. It brings us the Five of Cups. It has us change our mind and change our whole entire life. We start to change what we're seeing. We can see the mess that the kids leave in the room, right? We can see the fact that the dog ate the pillow. We can see all the chaos that we have to do, the work that's piling up. But we can also start to see our blessings. We can see the warm cup of coffee, left for us or made for us by a barista or by, a coworker or by ourselves, and take gratitude in it. We can start to count our blessings, which raises our energy vibration. We can start to look at happiness. People say ignorance is bliss. Well, maybe for some of us, we have to turn off the constant noise of the chaos of the world and say, I need to focus on my little world, on my heart and my connection, my dreams, my soul, and myself. Because I can't change everybody else. We can't. But I can connect with me and the world that I'm living in. And when we connect with the world that we're living in, it brings us to the moon. It brings us to the gentle illumination of our dreams, but also it brings us to facing our fears. It brings us to looking at a lot of the things that we just couldn't move forward from. A lot of the shadows, a lot of the chaos that we think, is this it? Is this everything? And so as we look at it, we look at ourselves, we look at what we want, we look at what we need. The moon comes forward and it says, are you going to let the shadows rule you? Are you going to let the unknown, but the idea that I know, guide me forward? Meaning that we come to conclusions. We think within the shadows hold the monsters. And we can absolutely see that because it moves and it's scary and it's looming. But if we look again and let the moon guide us, or we let our eyes adjust to the shadows, we see that it is a tree and the wind. And we don't have to be afraid all the time. We're starting to embrace confidence. We're starting to hold our heads up high and put our shoulders back, and realize that we are worth walking on this earth. That everybody is worth walking on this earth. If they embrace kindness, if they embrace compassion, if they open up their hearts to who they are and what they want. It can be made an argument that some really deplorable people do not deserve. But that is a different subject for a different time. This is a time where we look at what we're afraid of. We look at the fears that have held us back, the misbegotten beliefs that have kept us small and quiet. And we start to say no more. I deserve more, and I am more than my fear. It brings us to our subconscious energy to be mindful of, and it's the King of Swords. It's being mindful of having to have everything be so logical. And as air sign energy, we can fall into this. It's telling us not to get in our own way, not to overthink and overanalyze, which we can absolutely do, But it's also telling us that not everything has to be so serious and has to be quantifiable. Sometimes things just have to be expressed. Sometimes we just have to look at the richness of the story that is life and take it in. This moves us to our subconscious chakra energy, which is the heart chakra. This is play. And here's the thing with human beings. Human beings cannot play if they do not feel safe. So we need to feel safe for ourselves and for what we want. We need to look and embrace joy and see why joy might be hard to find. What is it that makes us feel chaotic, out of sorts? What is it that has us doubting that we can move forward in joy? We need to embrace play. We need to embrace beauty. We need to put something on the television that just makes us laugh and laugh. We need to do something fun that isn't for anybody else but ourselves. It brings us to our subconscious rooted self. And this is the moon again. This is our fears and our dreams coming forward. This is that Pisces energy guiding us. This is a sense of the shadows hold so much more wisdom if we stop and are actually able to see them. And we're not drawing our own conclusions without any knowledge, without any connection at all. It makes us go slower. It does. So during this time, we need to slow down. It moves us to our subconscious inner self. And that's the Page of Swords. That's us being a student. It's vigilance, yes, but it's the accumulation of ideas and insights. It's saying, what do I want and what do I need and how do I move forward? And what does this mean and what does that mean? And how does it all come together? It's questioning. It's pushing the envelope. It's discovery. It moves us to our subconscious public arena self. Not public arena, emotional self. The Seven of Wands. We're so used to being in battles. We're so used to having to protect ourselves and having to fight and having to have the higher ground. What Spirit is saying here is be mindful of how often we fight. Be mindful of what we're giving our energy to. Because it can bring us down. If we're always in a state of fight or flight, if we're always in a state of chaos and having to react, it's going to take away from so much of our joy, from so much of ourselves. So fight when it's necessary. But don't make it all the time. Because it's just going to drain us. It moves us to our subconscious public arena self. And that's the Five of Swords. It's taking the knowledge that we've earned and knowing that we've earned it well through living, through experiencing, through discovery. And it's not apologizing. It's gathering up our knowledge. And it's saying, I deserve to stand here. It's facing some battles that we have faced before. And it's honoring those battles. It's seeing ourselves. And it's looking at what we desire. And not letting others beat us down because they think that we'll bend, that they'll think that, oh, I can just push you around. They can't. The repeat of the number 5 is a freedom number, but it's also telling us that, things aren't going to be quite as difficult as we might think they are. All right, Aquarius. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power and the intensity of this time. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Aquarius.